Well, g'day, I'm JB and welcome to this week's episode of 4x4 Adventure Club. This is part 2 of our Victorian High Country trip. We'll be moving across Wonnangatta, heading our way back to the Dargo River Inn. So stick around and check out what we get up to. Well, we're nearly at the bottom of Tea Tree Range track, and yeah, just a nice little picturesque creek crossing.
Welcome to Members Rigs. My name is Mark and this is my 2012 Fury Red FJ Cruiser. We're going to talk about some of the modifications I've done. Alright, in the engine bay of my FJ Cruiser there's a 4 litre V6 engine getting around 200 kilowatts of power. To modify that I've done a K&N air filter as well as the air intake snorkel. Also in there I've got my dual battery system, which is one of my favourite mods, as well as the air compressor for airing up and camp beds, etc. Alright, for wheels and tyres on my car and suspension, I've got the Nitto Trail Grappler tyres in a 33 inch or 285/75/16. The car did come with 17 inch standard alloy wheels. I've downsized to 16 inch steel wheels for a better look, obviously, and a tougher wheel. Underneath there we've got the ARB BP51 suspension. Absolutely love it, can fine tune it for exactly what you want. Really impressed and rides well off-road. Alright, bar work and lights. On my car I have a bit of a hard to get bar that I managed to source out of Thailand. Really short bar compared to the standard bar, gives great approach angle. We just managed to squeeze in by the millimetre a 11,000 pound winch with a Dyneema rope. On the front also I've upgraded the indicators to black for black and red. In here I've done a proper HID retrofit for the vehicle as well. Behind the grille obviously a set of Hella Supertone lights. And we work our way all the way down to the bottom where the winch hook is. I do have a set of rated recovery points as well. So on top of my FJ Cruiser I've got the factory fitted roof rack, which the car didn't come with but I managed to source one. In front of that I've got a 50 inch light bar, and behind that I've also got a set of Max Tracks mounted to the roof. On the side I've got a 2 metre by 3 metre awning which I've fitted bug repellent LED lights to, which really changed the campsite. Impressive. Around to the back now, you'll see I've got a set of MR brackets with LED light on them. The spare tyre mounted in the factory location. Below that we have our tow bar, which has been really good as my rear bar bash plate at the moment. And below that I have a 120 litre much needed auxiliary fuel tank. Alright, inside my FJ Cruiser, looks pretty factory, but there's a few little modifications hidden away in there. I do have mounted a set of handheld radios, great for recoveries to have 2 radios in the car. Below that, factory navigation. Beside that I've got a tablet which includes, I've got hammer maps and mud maps on it at the moment, finding them very useful to have in the car. Below that you'll see the factory rear lock switch. Beside them I've got a few factory other switches for light bars, a lot of USB points and cigarette points in the car to power all of our devices. In the tailgate area, first thing you notice when you open the tailgate, I do have my axe mounted there, great for camping, going to fit a few more things there. Onto my drawers, made them myself, really proud of them actually. Made them so I've got a full length table underneath. One drawer has all my recovery medical gear, the other drawer has all of my cooking, 2 cookers, jet boil, everything I need for a long trip away. On top of that, made my own fridge slide as I had to fit and actually squeeze into the CFX35 fridge in there. Really happy with that. Beside that, you'll notice I've got one of my 20 litre jerry cans. It's just a gravity feed at the moment, but with the FJ you get a couple of mounts there, so I usually slot in 2 of them, so I've got a total of 40 litres of water when we go on our bigger trips. As for a wish list on my car, pretty happy with it where it is actually. I've done everything I want to do. If I was to have a wish list, I am going to get a set of custom made bash plates that go all the way to the full length of the vehicle. That's coming very soon. And I'm looking at getting a trans controller just so I can keep it in 5th gear and get engine braking in 1st gear, which would really help the petrol off-road. Quite commonly you'll see my FJ Cruiser roaming around the high country, a lot around the sort of Bunyip area and further in towards Matlock. Also like to get up to Tallarook as much as I can because that's the sort of area I grew up in. Places we want to go, we really want to go back to South Australia. We had a blast with the club there, and we also want to go down to Tasmania. We think it looks like a really good place to do some touring and off-road driving as well. Thank you for watching the Members Rig segment on my FJ Cruiser. We really love it and I hope you've enjoyed watching it on the episodes of 4x4 Adventure Club. We hope to see you out there.
Hey guys, Adam here from ADM Motors and Nuts About 4 Drive again. Today I wanted to just, on this episode I wanted to speak to you about wheel bearings really, and just show you how we pack grease through the wheel bearing, because I've seen a few things over the time and wheel bearings not packed correctly with grease, so I thought I'd give you a quick demo on how that's done. Obviously we want to make sure we're using the right grease as well. So here we've got high temp wheel bearing grease. Yes, there are other grease out there that's waterproof and that as well, but we're just using the high temp wheel bearing grease today. So make sure you got the right grease. And this is literally a hub off the rear of an 80 series. So definitely doing long trips, very common for wheel bearings to come loose on these. It actually results in breaking of these axle studs. So carrying a spare one that's pre-greased is a brilliant idea on any trip that you're going to go on. So that's hence why I'm going to show you how to pack the wheel bearing. If you don't have a proper wheel bearing packing tool here, which we have in the workshop, the best way to do it is grab a bit of grease in the palm of your hand here, and you actually feed the grease through the bottom of the wheel bearing through here and into the top. Okay, and as you actually start packing it through, you will actually see the grease actually come through the actual bearing like that there. Okay, that's how you actually know that you've got the wheel bearing packed through there. You actually jam the grease with the palm of your hand through the actual bearing. I've seen a lot of people in the past literally just grab the bearing grease and put it around the top, thinking that they're actually greasing the bearing like that, which is not the case, of course. Like I've just shown, you actually put the grease in the palm of your hand and actually like almost punch it through the actual bearing to get it into the bearing itself there. Tapered roller bearing, so you're going to need to know once you've greased it, you're going to need to grease the hub, and you're going to need to know how to preload it as well when you actually fit it back up into the vehicle. But ultimately, one very, very common failure on an 80 series on long trips and that, so carrying a spare pre-greased wheel bearing rear hub is an excellent idea. Yeah, that's really what I wanted to show you, was just the grease actually coming through the bearing itself. So that's how you actually grease it up. Have a look on our Facebook site, and also give us a like. Check out our online store at nutsabout4drive.com.au. Apart from that, stay on all fours and go nuts.
Well, we've just gone through the second of, I think, 4 river crossings that we're going to tackle on Crooked River Track, and on the second one it was a lot deeper than the first, and the FJ we attached to a strap and put a carburetor on, only because he's the only one without a snorkel, but that all worked well, but unfortunately he's popped a brake line going through the water, so we're hopefully going to splint it up, and yeah, we've got some brake fluid there, so hopefully we'll get him back on the road so we can continue on. Well, we've just turned off Crooked River track onto Randall's track. Nice hill climb to start off. Pretty rutted out, and yeah, no, everyone made it up pretty easy. And yeah, we'll see what the rest of the trip brings.
It's definitely low range. There's not really any room to stop on the top. I just have to go back a bit. I'm back on track, mate. I'm back on track.
Well, what an epic adventure that has been out at Dargo in the Victorian High Country. You know, lots of hill climbs, you know, mud ruts, you know, even with the weather, hot, rainy, windy, snowing, you know, we had absolutely everything this trip. And unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, I'm JB, and we'll catch you next time on 4x4 Adventure Club.